3 nights ago, I went to bed in a completely normal room. 4 walls, 1 window, 1 closet, 1 door. That's it. I know that because I've lived here for 6 years. I know every crack in the ceiling, every dent in the paint, the faint water stain above the light fixture shaped like a crooked heart. There has never been another door in my room. Until 3 days ago. It started with a sound, a soft knock. Not on my bedroom door, the real one, behind me. I remember freezing in bed, staring at the ceiling in the dark. Knock, knock, knock. Slow, even, patient. I turned on my bedside lamp and sat up. My room looked the same, but the sound had definitely come from the wall, opposite my bed, the blank wall. The one with nothing but pale gray paint and a framed picture. I got up, heart pounding, and walked toward it. Nothing. No cracks, no handles, no outline of a frame. I pressed my ear against the wall. Silence. I convinced myself it was pipes. Old house, weird noises. It happens. I went back to bed. The next morning, I woke up and my room felt different. You know that feeling? When something is slightly off, but you can't place it. I sat up slowly, and that's when I saw it, to the right of my closet. A door, tall, narrow, painted the same gray as my walls. It looked old, the paint slightly chipped around the edges. A brass handle that looked tarnished with age. My stomach dropped. I stared at it for a full minute, waiting for my brain to correct itself. Maybe it had always been there. Maybe I just never noticed. But that was impossible. That wall had always been blank. I got out of bed slowly and walked toward it. The air around the door felt colder. Not dramatically, just enough to notice. I reached for the handle. It was freezing. Not just cold metal. Freezing, like it had been sitting in snow. I hesitated. Then I twisted it. Locked. I exhaled shakily. Good. Maybe this was some kind of dream. Or stress hallucination. I hadn't been sleeping well lately. I stepped back. That's when I noticed something else. There were faint scratch marks near the bottom of the door. Long, thin. Like something on the other side had been dragging its nails against it. I didn't open it that day. I left the house. Stayed out late. Told myself I'd deal with it later. But when I came home that night, the door was still there, waiting, and around 2:17 a.m., it knocked again. Knock, knock, this time louder, more urgent. I didn't turn on the light. I just stared at it in the dark, and slowly, the handle began to turn. I heard the mechanism click. The door creaked open an inch, then 2, then 3. Cold air poured into my room, and beyond the crack, there was no hallway, no wall, no part of my house, just darkness, not empty darkness, thick darkness, like smoke, like it had depth. I couldn't breathe. I don't know what came over me, but instead of running, I stood up, and I walked toward it. Every instinct screamed at me to stop, but curiosity is louder sometimes. I pulled the door open fully, and I stepped through. The moment my foot crossed the threshold, the air changed. It smelled damp, rotten, like wet soil and something decaying underneath. When my eyes adjusted, I realized I wasn't in my house anymore. I was standing in what looked like an abandoned town, but not outside, inside. Like the town existed inside a massive, endless structure. The sky above was black, but not night. Just void. Buildings leaned at unnatural angles. Windows were broken. Doors hung open. Streetlights flickered weakly, casting long, distorted shadows that didn't match the objects creating them. And it was silent. Too silent. I turned back toward the door. It was still there. Standing alone behind me, freestanding, like it had been placed in the middle of this haunted place just for me. I should have gone back. I didn't. I took a step forward, then another. The ground felt soft, like ash. As I walked deeper into the town, I began to notice movement in the windows. Figures, standing still, watching. They were tall, too tall, their limbs slightly elongated, heads tilted at unnatural angles. And their faces, there were no faces. Just smooth, pale surfaces, like melted wax. One of them lifted an arm slowly, pointed at me, and then they all did. Doors around me began slamming shut. Windows shattered outward. A low humming filled the air, vibrating through my chest. The streetlights flickered violently, and then I heard it. Footsteps. Behind me, I turned. One of the faceless figures was standing in the middle of the street. Closer now. It didn't walk. It glided. Its head tilted slowly as if studying me. And then I heard a voice. Not from its mouth. Inside my head. You opened it. I stumbled backward. I didn't mean to, I whispered. The figure's head tilted further. You always mean to. More figures began emerging from the buildings, surrounding me, closing in. The humming grew louder. The air grew heavier. You don't belong here, the voice continued. Then let me leave, I shouted. Silence. The humming stopped. Every figure froze. And then, slowly, they all turned their heads in the same direction. Behind me, I turned too. The door, it was starting to fade, like smoke dissolving. No, I breathed. I ran. The ash-like ground swallowed my footsteps. The faceless figures didn't chase me. They didn't need to. They just watched. As if they knew something I didn't, the door shrank with every step. The darkness around the town began collapsing inward, like walls closing in. The buildings bent toward me. The void above cracked like glass. You entered, the voice echoed one last time. So now you stay. I dove forward just as the door became a thin sliver of light. My fingers caught the edge. I pulled myself through and slammed onto my bedroom floor. The door behind me shut violently. I scrambled backward. It was just a door again. Closed. Silent. I didn't sleep that night. Or the next. I told myself it was a nightmare. Until this morning, I woke up, and the door was gone. The wall is blank again. No scratches. No handle. Nothing. But something is different. The room feels bigger, quieter. And sometimes when I close my eyes, I hear humming, soft, patient. And last night, at exactly 2:17 a.m., I heard it again. Knock, knock, knock. This time, it wasn't coming from the wall. It was coming from inside my closet.